Hello again, everyone. Doing another mushroom video. This time I'm moving on to morels because, as I noticed last year as well, morels grow in this little passageway between the house and the retaining wall of the garden here in the city where I live. I'm in the middle of the city, and yet these mushrooms seem to be doing quite well here. They're actually growing right through the cement. Cement has already started cracking, and there's some plants growing through it, and it's going through the natural process of what happens when humans leave something that they've created. Nature takes it back. So unless someone comes and scrapes all this stuff off and puts another layer of cement on top, this is going to keep going in this direction. It's going to go back to nature. It's already nature. I mean, we have mushrooms, which are one of the pioneer species on terra firma, and we have these very ancient. I don't know what these are called actually. I'm embarrassed to say, but it's a kind of like almost algae-like land plant that grows often in moist, cementy places, and that's taking over and starting to cover everything. We even have a few little taller plants here, some grass, and these leaves. Of course, every leaf that falls here is turning into humus. The bugs that also live down here, no doubt, and the worms that come up through the cracks and bring stuff down. They're all creating. There's this whole little microcosm here, right on top of the cement that was laid several, who knows how many years ago, 40, 50, 60 years ago. And I brought a couple books this time also to recommend them. First one is this one. It's David Aurora's All That the Rain Promises and More. It's a very good mushroom hunting, probably definitive so far. I mean, it's the best that I've found. A hunting book that you can keep in your back pocket. Looking at these pictures, these very nice pictures, I know that these are probably yellow morels. They could be white morels. Actually, now I'm changing my mind. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Which one do you think? This is the white morel, and that's the yellow morel. Now, keep in mind that mushrooms in different habitats, in different places, and with slightly different genetic makeups, they vary in the way that they look. But we're pretty certain, we're like 99.9% certain, that 100% certain that these are edible, comestible morels, delicious. Of course, I wouldn't eat these because they're growing in a space where I don't really know what the chemical, the cement's not the healthiest thing to be eating from, and who knows what else. We are in an urban environment, but I would like to take this opportunity to also speak a little bit about the medicinal qualities of this common edible. People often don't understand that many of these mushrooms that you've been eating for years, even the common button mushroom, is anti-carcinogenic and has a plethora of positive health benefits, not the least of which is a good supply of vitamin D. But according to this guy, and his name is Robert Rogers, I mentioned him in another video, I couldn't remember his name, The Fungal Pharmacy by Robert Rogers, who's an herbalist, and he's compiled this book. It's not really, he didn't write it, well, he wrote parts of it, but it's really a compilation of all of the science, folklore, there's all sorts of, I really should have found the Morkella section before I did this. But this is a highly recommended book. It really has a lot of information in it if you're interested in mushrooms and the medicinal use of mushrooms. And I think that really, oh, here it is. In our culture, we really are very poor in our understanding of mushrooms and what mushrooms can do for us, and there are consequences, because there's also mushrooms that can kill us. There's molds that can kill us and give us diseases, and if we don't know about the fungi and we just like, oh no, it's all too scary, we can't go there, let's just stick to plants, then we are putting ourselves in a kind of risk by lack of discernment. So this is why it's very important to know about mushrooms, and who doesn't want to know about this? Look at this. It's growing through cement. It looks like a brain. It's edible. And let me tell you a little something, what it says here in Robert Rogers' Fungal Pharmacy for the medicinal use. I'm going to go straight to the yellow morel. Yellow morel is a tumor inhibitor, and he cites Ito et al., 1973. So this is a test done in Japan, I'm assuming, in 1973. Okay? And here, I'm going to go on. I'm going to read you this paragraph. Recent work by Duncan et al. Isolated a galactomannan with immunostimulating activity. That means it stimulates your immune system, right? At only 3 micrograms per milliliter, the galactomannan polysaccharide increased NF-kappa B directed luciferase expression in THP1 human monocystic cells to levels 50% of those achieved by maximal activating concentration, 10 milligrams per milliliter. So you see, this is a very scientific text. But if you use your brain a little, you can figure out more or less what they're trying to say. So, blah, blah, blah. This suggests indirect immune stimulation via mucosal immune system interaction, as the polysaccharide weight is too large to enter the bloodstream. Here we go. He's citing Nitha et al., 2007. He found Morel species significantly inhibit acute and chronic inflammation. Oh, inflammation. Wow, aren't many of our elders suffering from inflammatory conditions? Maybe they should be eating more mushrooms, like Morels. And prevent growth of solid cancer tumors. Oh, also prevents the solidification of cancer tumors. Well, that's interesting. Anti-tumor activity from a 50% ethanol extract of the mycelium resulted in 74% inhibition of tumor size and 79% of tumor weight in mice studies. So all of this stuff is new to a lot of people, but it's very fascinating, and I think it's very pertinent. If you take into consideration what the world is going through right now in terms of the corporate control of information and goods and drugs, and the fact that in the end we don't really need them because we have everything that we need is actually right in front of us. It's actually growing all around us, the plants and the mushrooms and the clays that we all have access to with a little bit of gumption, a little bit of searching, and a little bit of reading, from people who are passionate about this subject and are willing to create works that we can buy or, get from the library or download online, and can find out all sorts of things that might be very helpful to you or to someone that you love. Morels in the heart of the city.